Another one of our heroes, I was just writing about it this week, William Blake, right? In Jerusalem, the emanation of the giant Albion, which he also uses the book of Revelation as a scaffolding for, but he explores depths of it. That's, he goes to places. It's like uh it's like the book of Revelation on acid. It just goes into not it doesn't go into crazy places. It's very logical, but it's really for a lot of people for centuries it was impenetrable because it's such a dense mythology that has elements that are like the Old Testament and the New Testament, but he's got all this new stuff that he throws in, his own emanations, but and then he uses some language or some names like from the Old Testament, like Reuben, right? Or Rahab. But he doesn't mean them in exactly the same way we said we have them in the Bible. So it's you read it and you're like, whoa, what? I have to reorient myself to a new world here. But he too, right? He too, tell me if I'm wrong, but so what happens in Jerusalem by Blake is, which is also, speaking of prophecy, it's a prophetic work that, and it kind of in a way coheres with Rudolf Steiner said that, once it starts, this unraveling, you have to let the process work out. And then Jesus comes in, not like he's he's present all the way through Jerusalem, not in every single book, but he makes appearances all the way through. But it's when he appears at the end of Jerusalem and marries the bride, who is Jerusalem, in the New Jerusalem, in in that phenomenal book, that everything is restored, right? But before that, I mean, he can't really Jesus can't really intervene. He can assure people that it's okay, just trust me. But they still go through the process. But
The only way out is through, bro. Right?
well, yeah,
Beyond the era of institutions is what it's going to look like. And there was a time in the Catholic Church before the wild institutionalization, and Peter was still there. So I think we're looking, as your work often points to, TJ, and Michael with Sophiology, we're looking at a recapitulation at a higher level. Harold Bloom critiqued all those people, with enthusiasm, who just thought it was always going back to the early church. Well, those people were partially right. Like everything good in the world, it's a recapitulation at a higher level, the second naivete, the second simplicity, the second childhood, things like that. And William Blake was the prophet of the second childhood, and John Cooper Powys would say, because the other visual for people is from the east to the west, to the east and west combined, from the feminine to the masculine road, to the feminine masculine combined. And what Blake did is he put the Christ child back in kind of to the east. So this east and west combined thing.
the thing you get by reading Jerusalem is, and nobody can do this like Blake. Just the way he uses cadences and language, and especially the cadences, create an energy of intensity and anxiety that he takes the reader, the attentive reader, you get swept up in it. In fact, when I was teaching this course on Jerusalem just recently, because I couldn't believe it reading this out loud, how I don't even know what he was saying, and and the energy of it just swept me away, which is what Blake is like a master of doing, especially in that book.